My buddy, I'm not going to say his name, obviously, no names. This was about 12 years ago, so it's like not that crazy. But he was talking to this dance chick, so like some chick in the dance program. And like he was pretty stoked on her because he's like pretty much a sucker for like a basic white blonde girl, right? So he was smitten already, right? So she invites us out. Her parents are out of town. Well, just him, but he brought 6 of his boys, no women, in typical scumbag fashion. So she invites us out to this house party that she's having. Her parents are out of town. Everything seems normal. It's in a very nice part of town, like very nice. First thing we see when we come in is like a bunch of kids that I had gone to school with. I didn't know any of them, but I had gone to school with at my previous school, which was like a private school, right? So I was like, oh yeah, nah, these people got money. I was like, this is a money party, dude. We are super out of place. We are all hella poor and not from the backgrounds that these people are from, for sure. So we walk in. I mean, the party's going, it's been going on for like 2 hours. Like we got there like 2 hours late, right? Only about 20 people there. Like it's nothing crazy. It's not like a banger or anything. And everyone is wasted, like straight up hammered already, which is like normal, especially when you go to like a private school party. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced like what private school parties are like. Not like elite Upper East Side Manhattan private schools, but I'm talking about like your Midwest private school. Like there's a difference in like parent type over there. Like you go to certain private schools in the US and their parents are like legitimate millionaires, possibly even billionaires in certain cases, right? No, here they just own like a roofing company. You know what I mean? So they're doing Midwest fancy. Like they're doing pretty well. But they still have like this air of superiority with them, which is like really annoying, to be honest. But we go out there and there's a bunch of like little, don't want to say rich kids, but for the area, yeah, there's fucking little rich kids, right? So we're like, yeah, these kids suck. But anytime you go to one of those house parties, like those kids are usually cashed out by like 10 o'clock. I swear to God, dude. They'll talk about how they're getting faded all weekend, but then you actually see them in a party form and they're out by like 8 p.m. Like, and that's kind of what was going on here. There was like, these girls were running around just like naked for some reason, which I know you're gonna say, dude, sick, but like, no, it was kind of just weird. I didn't really know what was going on there. Like, typically when you see that, you don't really respond in like a, oh, this is sick kind of way. It's just kind of more like, why is this happening? Like, what drugs are at play here? That's what I was thinking. So either way, we go there, the girl greets us or whatever. She's a little bit concerned because like, not only did we roll up like 6 deep, all men, my best friend is black dude, and she looks very concerned by this notion. Even though he works at Zoomies, she's still like very concerned, and just kind of eyeing him up kind of weird, which pissed me off because I was like, okay, dude, for real. Like, I know the people who were at this party. I went to high school with them. I guarantee they're 900 times sketchier than my best friend over here. Like, you guys you're being kind of an asshole, basically. So we're already off to a bad start because he's feeling mad about this, which I totally understand. I was also pissed. Like, not a good start. Not a good start to the party situation, but we're there. The party's taking place on like 3 different floors. At this point, there's a little beer pong area in the basement. People are hanging out watching sports in the living room upstairs, and then people are up in the bedrooms upstairs doing whatever it is that they're doing. Whatever, it is what it is. So the party's going okay. Everything seems to be good. My buddy's chatting up this girl. He's like into her or whatever. So even though we're asking politely to be able to leave and do anything else, he's like, nah, man, we're gonna stay. And we understood. We're bros at the end of the day, we're like, well, we'll stay, dude. Of course, for you, man, we will stay so you can talk to this like blonde that you love so much at this point, whatever. I wish it ended there. I wish we would have left, but we didn't leave. So another group of like 15 people arrives, right? Mostly dudes, and which, under normal circumstances would have been us, but we were actually pretty tame this night. But a whole crew of dudes shows up, right? And then I know a few of them. Like, I don't know them personally, but I know of them. We've been in the same party circles. I've talked to them a few times. They're not exactly the guys you want to see rolling up to your house party because they're typically trying to start fist fights, or they're going to get progressively drunker. They're all white and they're going to say the N-word a bunch of times. Like, not people you want to deal with, right? So I'm just see them and I'm like, yeah, dude, this is about to be a fucking awful night. Like, I can already tell, dude, there's a lot of snapbacks and tattoos kind of fucking guys walking in here. Like, before that was even a thing, really. But, just not a good vibe, dude. So I'm like, whatever, right? It's okay. My buddy's chatting up this girl, dude. It's only a matter of time before he either closes up the deal or, she fucks him over in some capacity, and then regardless, we can leave. Like, that's kind of where I'm at this point. Like, it's going to happen. One of those two eventualities is going to occur in the near future. So we'll be out. No. I'm right. 100%. Because within 45 minutes, things had gone completely wrong. It went from like my buddy is having a great time to now he's pissed. And we don't know what happened because we're all just chilling in the basement. We're like smoking weed and stuff, kicking it, just waiting for this whole event to end, really. And my buddy comes in, he's fucking pissed, dude. Like, I mean, super mad. And I'm like, oh no, dude. Why is he so mad? I'm like, oh God. And he was like mad to the point where it's like, it's not like the girl just like rejected him. He never really cared about that because he'd just go hit on somebody else. Like, that's the type of dude he was. So it's like, whatever. But no, he was like pissed. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what's up, buddy? What's going on? What are we talking about here, dude? Why are you so mad? And he's like, bro, this girl invited me out here. And then her ex-boyfriend showed up and now they're hooking up upstairs. And I'm like, well, damn. I was like, well, that's fucking whack, dude. Well, what do we do? And then we get the rest of the crew together. We all squat up in the basement. We're like, all right, how do we proceed with this treachery? Like, what do we do? What do we do here? How do we proceed with the treachery that has been laid on our crew at this point? Because this cannot stand. We have to do something. My buddy's like, I should go fight her boyfriend. I was like, you should not do that. Don't do that. I was like, first off, you already lost the mental battle. Like, he definitely smashed this girl you wanted to talk to. So, like, that's not, you're not winning that one. Sorry, dude. He's already bested you, like, realistically. So he's like, all right, yeah, fair enough. So we're leaving, and then someone's iPod gets stolen. This is back in the iPod days, iPod Touch days. This is like 09, Someone's iPod Touch gets stolen. And immediately, we take major offense to this, but it kind of makes sense being the fact that nobody knew who we were except for this one girl who is obviously preoccupied getting her shit blown out upstairs. So, like, everyone's like, yeah, they probably did it. And we're pissed at first. Well, I kind of was the one who did this one, right? Like, I started to kind of get offended at this, and the reason being was because my best friend, like I said, is like a black dude, and he already had some weird looks when we got there, and then now we're getting accused of stealing shit. So I got a little offended, and he did too, but I was like more offended, I think, because I was pissed because I could see it like in the girl who first accused us, like I could see in her eyes who she was looking at, and I got super mad. Like, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, we're doing that. I'm like, I get it. Like, we're 6 dudes, but you seem to only be looking at one of us. Like, this seems kind of fucked up. Like, so I was like pissed. So we're like, oh yeah, we're definitely fucking. I'm like, okay, they want to blame us for stealing shit and being a nuisance. Let's fucking be a nuisance then. Fuck it. So we're like, all right, cool. So we just start fucking the house up. I mean, like, not like completely. It's not like we're out here like breaking stuff. We didn't steal anything at all. Because there's still lines that can't be crossed. The party has mainly moved downstairs, so there's really no one upstairs. So we just start going to town, right? Like, my buddy is pissed at this girl, so he takes her mom's car keys and flushes them down the toilet, right? Which I find hysterical. Like, my best friend, he starts peeing in their hot tub. Their hot tub isn't filled, so he just starts pissing in it. And then another one of my buddies does the same thing, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, let's start doing stuff. So I went in the bathroom and I opened up their like medicine cabinet, and all the prescription bottles, I just started gluing them to the wall. Like, because they were I had super glue. I don't know where I got that, but I had super glue, dude, and I just started gluing them to the wall. So I took this super glue, I took all the prescriptions and just glued them to the wall. So the whole bathroom just had a wall of like prescriptions and aspirin and shit just glued to the wall. Not the individual tablets or anything like that. No, the whole ass bottle was glued to the wall. I thought that was hilarious. Apparently everyone else did too, right? Like, it's jokes. My buddy's outside. He's done with his little hot tub experiment. Now he's outside and he's taking all the light bulbs out of all the fixtures outside and smashing them, right? Every single one. Not in like really terrible places, but just in the trash can. Like, he's just smashing all the light bulbs. So they have no light bulb outside now. My buddy goes to dunk for no reason on their basketball hoop, rips it down. My buddy's like mad as hell. He's wanting to do more to the dude's car. I was like, look, man, it's not the guy's fault. Like, we cannot be fucking his car up. Like, He's just here to, reconvene with his ex-girlfriend. It's not his fault that you happen to also be talking to her tonight. All right, dude, it's not his fault. You do not need to like slash his tires or like beat him up. Like, I promise it's okay. I have to be the head of reason sometimes with my group of friends because they're a little fucking toxic. So, we get done with all the rest of our stuff. I can't remember if we did anything else specifically. Oh, I think, yeah, somebody cut their shoelaces with scissors. Like, just the ones that were in the breezeway, just right up the middle. That was kind of messed up. Just like little prank stuff like that is what we were up to, but we did like quite a bit of it, right? So then we leave. We're walking out. We're high-fiving, dude. We're all smoking cigs. Like, we think this shit is so funny. We didn't run, by the way. Keep in mind, this whole time, no one came upstairs, and we were being super loud about this. No one came upstairs. No one came to investigate. When we left, no one came and chased after us. We walked away like nothing happened. And like, this is like I said, like 13 years ago at this point. So it's, statute of limitations are up on petty pranks of this nature. So we don't think anything of it. We're like, damn, dude, they're going to be pissed, right? They're going to be pissed. Because obviously, why would you not be? And so we walked away, went to do some other parties and stuff that night. Didn't hear anything back until Monday. Monday, we go back to school. And we're sitting there, dude, and all of a sudden the girl that my buddy was talking to comes up to me, and I didn't really know her that well. And they're not even accusing us of anything, but they're asking us questions, like me specifically. And I'm like, what's up? And she was like, were you guys at our party on Saturday? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, do you not remember, like, talking to us at all? She was like, no, I was so wasted. Like, I don't remember anything. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, we were there. Like, me, and she knew a couple of my other friends, so I was like, me, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, we were there, of course. I'm like, and the reason my thought process was, the reason that I admitted to being there was because I thought this was some sort of setup where she was going to, like, try to, like, gotcha us and be like, no, I got pictures of you there. So I was like, yeah, of course we were there. Duh, obviously. Yeah, you don't remember talking to us at all? Like, Jesus. And she's like, no, I don't. And then she just starts being like, look, this is what happened. I was wondering if you saw anything or you knew anything, right? So she starts listing a bunch of the stuff that we did, of course. Aside from the car keys, I don't think she knew that happened yet. Those were down the toilet. So, like, and they flushed pretty well, from my understanding. So it's not like they were just sitting at the bottom. Like, no, they were gone in the septic system, more than likely. But she starts naming stuff like, the medicine bottles, and like, she also starts talking about the light bulbs, all the light bulbs being missing from outside. There's like no light bulbs and stuff. And like, I was just like laughing, and she's like, what's so funny? I was like, who would do this? Like, what the fuck, dude? Who did you have at your party? Like, what kind of terrible person did you invite? Like, who would come to a house party and do this? And she's like, I know, right? Who would do this? And I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. That's a bad person right there for sure. So I'm laughing, and like, my buddy walks up at this point, and he's like joined in on it, and he's playing it up really well. He's like, yeah, dude, that's fucked up, man. If we would have saw them, we would have fucked them up for sure. Like, yeah, we would have fucked them up if they were doing that when we were around. And like, they're buying it for sure, 100%. And then I forgot what they asked me. They asked about the shoelaces, and then something else. Like, I don't remember. They were talking about, the one thing they were like really pressed on us about was, I forgot what drink it was in the fridge, but we had taken them, and they weren't alcohol, by the way. These were just like regular drinks. So we were just thirsty because we were super high. Like, and we were like, oh yeah, we did do that. We're like, yeah, of course. Yeah, we took that. We thought it was like open party or whatever, And they were like, oh, okay, could you like replace those? Those were my dad's. And we're like, yeah, you know what? We could do that. That's cool. we could do that. If that's all we're getting in trouble for, yeah, we could replace whatever beverage this was. It was like a non-alcoholic beverage, whatever. So at the end, she's like, well, thanks. I'm trying to figure out who did this stuff because it's likely that person is the one that was stealing stuff. And I'm like, now I'm actually like, I don't have to play it up at all. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, people were stealing shit too? I was like, that's weird. And she's like, yeah, they stole so much. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, this could not have been my friends. The reason being, no, it was like energy drinks or something, I believe. I don't remember. Now she starts telling me about the stuff that's stolen, or that was stolen from the house. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, for sure, none of my friends could have done this because we all left at the same time. Like the iPod, it would have been possible that they would have done this. They wouldn't. I don't think they would have, but it's possible. Like theoretically, yeah, they could have done that, right? But she starts saying stuff that was taken, okay? So she said there was a giant jug of change, like, you know, one of those water containers, like the water, not the bottles, what am I saying? Like the Culligan, the big, like, Culligan things. Just a big thing of water, big plastic jug, that's what I was looking for, of water, filled with change. Probably a couple $100 worth of change, stolen, right? And I'm like, okay, I know for a fucking fact my dumbass friends did not take this. Like, I definitely would have seen them ganking this big thing of change, right? And she's like, yeah, somebody stole this big thing of change. And I'm like, okay, well, that's messed up. And I'm like, all right, but that stuff happens. If you've ever had a house party, random incremental shit like that will go missing. And you have to kind of, you know, factor that into the event, especially if you, like, you know, bring random people in the mix or random people come. Yeah, people are gonna steal random shit like change, loose money. Like, that's gonna happen, dude. You have to just hide all that shit as best as you can, because there will be some piece of shit that comes and takes it for sure. So I'm like, yeah, that's fucked up, but that's normal. And then she's like, the iPod, and I was like, yeah, I remember people were looking for it when we were there. That's fucked up. Like, damn, it's a nice iPod Touch. Like, it's messed up, because they were relatively new at that point, so that was kind of not chill. I know I'm dating myself hard on this one. I'm talking about iPod Touches being nice out here, but the shit was nice at the time. Pretty sure you had Angry Birds on that bad easy. That was pretty tight, you know. So, you know, then she's like, our alcohol was taken. Like, some of the alcohol was taken. My friend got his weed taken, and I was like, okay, none of my friends had additional booze or cannabis, which they absolutely would have busted out that night. So, whatever. And then the big stuff comes. Right? And then she's like, yes, somebody took my Wii. And I was like, well, damn, they took the Wii? I was like, dude. And I mean, it was 2009, so the Wii was, like, relatively new at that point. And I don't remember exactly when it came out, but it had to be, like, 2007 or something. So it wasn't, like, old or anything. The Wii was still hot in the streets. Like, so somebody had ganked the Wii and all the cords, dude. And then here's the kicker. Somebody had stolen the fucking TV. Like, legitimately the living room TV, which was like probably a 50 or so inch flat screen, somebody had taken it. That was astonishing to me. She literally said the TV, and I'm thinking, like, because there was a little one in the kitchen, like a little, like, 20 inch, you know, like what people, white people specifically, would have in the kitchen, a little kitchen TV, you know, on the little island or whatever. That's what I'm thinking got stolen. I'm like, that's kind of messed up, but, like, understandable. It's an easy lick, you know, for somebody that wants to do that. But the fact that they stole the whole ass living room TV, astonishing. Now I'm sitting there and I'm racking my brain, because not only am I now kind of concerned, because that's kind of messed up. Like, yeah, we did some kind of like fucked up prank stuff at the party, but we didn't steal anything. Now it's like I'm thinking there's gonna be law trouble, and who's the first people they're gonna investigate? The people who are gluing prescription bottles to the wall, obviously, of course, right? For sure. But I'm like more also thinking, like, how the fuck did somebody steal a 50-inch flat screen in the middle of a house party? Like, nobody saw this happening. It took you till the next day to realize there was no TV in the living room. Like, there was a big ass sectional in there. I have to assume somebody went and passed out on that sectional during the party, right? Like, afterwards when the party came down, like, I have to assume someone was sleeping down there, right? That I've never been to a house party where someone wasn't passed out on the couch, so I have to assume that happened, right? So they must have been fucking wasted, dude, or else they would have probably noticed that there was no TV down there. But, you know, I'm just like, that's crazy. I'm trying to think about it from a logistics standpoint. I'm like, how do you even get around this? Like, how does this even happen, dude? And she's tweaking because her parents are coming back, like, the next day. They were coming back on, like, a Tuesday. So I guess they were planning on having, like, one last little kickback thing on, like, Monday or whatever. And that wasn't going to happen, obviously, because, you know, the house had just got robbed, basically. So that's, like, what's fucked up. That's, how does someone take the TV